So I feel really, really fortunate because I get to come after all of these people that are doing all of these amazing things. And some of them are talking about the same things that I'm talking about. So there I am with some of my kids at a salad bar. And when I started in Boulder and Berkeley before that, I was told that you can't have salad bars in schools because little kids can't deal with them and big kids spit in them. And I'm here to tell you that we can put salad bars in schools all across the country. But changing school food is hard. It might be the hardest job I've ever had. I mean, trying to figure out a way to change this behemoth, to figure out a way to feed our kids healthy. But it could be the most important thing. Hungry kids can't learn, malnourished kids can't think, and we really need to change that. So I start with regional, organic, seasonal, sustainable. Regional food, those young farmers and our kids, having food with a place and a face, teaching our children where their food comes from. The carrots go in the ground, and that it really matters where your food comes from. Organic food, schools are so strapped for money. We get to spend $1 on food. We'll talk more about that. $1. So how can I put organic food on the plate? But we have to stop killing our kids with chemicals because that is what we're doing. We can't keep feeding our kids chemicals. We have to feed them real food. And we have to get rid of antibiotics and hormones. And speaking of antibiotics, you've already heard this today. 80% of all the antibiotics consumed in our country is consumed in animal husbandry. So when our kids get sick and can't get better and antibiotics don't work, this is why. Is that how we want our kids to grow up? Is that the food system we think we need in our country? I don't think so. GMOs and GEs, you heard Gary talk all about that. No mandatory labeling, no mandatory testing. We have no idea what's going to happen to our children's children. We're a test tube. We got a label. We've got to stop this hiding behind corporate agriculture. We have to change. We have to change for our children's future. And speaking of corporate agriculture uses 1.2 billion pounds of pesticides each year. That's a 5-pound bag for every man, woman, and child in our country. So if I had 5 pounds right here, and I took a teaspoon and fed it to your child, your niece, your nephew, your goddaughter, that's what we have. As opposed to this, triple bottom line, people, planet, prosperity, healthy kids, healthy planet, healthy food. Is that too much to ask for in our country of plenty? Can't we have this? Well, it's so hard. We work at it so hard, and every day we have roadblocks. Industrialized agriculture brought us pink slime. It brought us peanut butter that's bad, now Uncrustables that are bad, billions of eggs. And all of this gets fed to our children. By the time it's recalled, we've already eaten it. Really? That's what we want to do? But we can change it. I'm going to challenge you all to help me change it because we have to do it together. So that's the government's kids' meal wheel. That one's mine. I did it 10 years before the government. Here's Harvard's. But what do we feed kids? This is what we feed our children in America. And even with the new USDA guidelines that say that you can serve French fries as a vegetable every day, we can serve that. So what's happening? The CDC says that of the children born in the year 2000, 1 out of every 3 Caucasians and 1 out of every 2 African Americans and Hispanics will have diabetes in their lifetime. And we think we have a healthcare crisis now. What are we going to do? What are we going to do when schools say we can't afford better? And the CDC has gone on to say that this same generation born in the year 2000 will be the first in our country's history to die at a younger age than their parents because of what we feed them. And make no bones about it, if the 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds are deciding we should all be in therapy, and if you're in therapy, just get more therapy. You know, we have to take control because this is the social justice issue of our time. We've seen the achievement gap and the life expectancy gap grow 20% in 20 years. That means if you're not Caucasian and rich in this country, you're not going to get well educated and you're not going to be well for your whole life. And that is not the world any of us want. So why can't we change it? School food challenges, food, finance, facilities, human resources, and marketing. Food, how do we get it? Finances, how do we pay for it? Facilities, how do we build these kitchens? Human resources, how do we train our staff? And finally, how do we get the kids to eat it? Those are the challenges I get up to every day, because this is school food. Extremo burritos, corn dogs, pizza pockets, and now we have whole wheat corn dogs. Really? That's what we need? So we have to get away from that. We have to say no to that. We have to get that food out of our food system. And what should we have? Fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, whole grains, healthy protein. Who doesn't want that for their kids? Why do we think that's so hard? Why can't we have that in every school in America? Why can't we just say, our kids are the most important thing for our health, our life, and the future of our country? But there's so many challenges. What are we going to do without kitchens? This is a kitchen I built in Boulder, but how many school districts in this country do you think, given the little bit of money we pay for school meals, can afford to build kitchens? And kitchens aren't enough. I mean, it's not enough to have a beautiful kitchen like that if you don't have staff that can actually cook. We need a national training program. You know, my food service workers are the lowest paid employees in the whole school district. We pay more for the people washing the floors than feeding our children. We should be ashamed. We have to change. We have to do something different. We have to value these people. We have to teach our kids where food comes from. We need a garden in every school. Food Corps is doing that. Whole Kids Foundation is doing that. Why can't we do it? And people say, oh, we don't have a growing season. I'm in Colorado. Come on, you can grow anything anywhere. Or you can use those wall gardens. There's so much we can do. But even if we get the food, if we have farm-to-school programs, who's going to cut it? This is one day's worth of produce. Where are those containers going to come from, and the big food service things, and the knives, and the cutting boards? I mean, we need all of those things. It's not enough to say, oh, we can grow it, or oh, we can get it. There's so many moving pieces. And why is this important? Because in our country, 1 out of every 4 meals is eaten in a car. 1 out of every 4 meals is eaten in fast food. And 1 out of every 4 meals is eaten in front of a blue screen, iPad, iPhone. When do we sit and eat together? Okay, the white elephant in the room. The thing that everyone says, when I say let's change school food, they say we can't. School food in America is costing us $11.5 billion to feed 5.4 billion lunches a year. And I think we should double that. And people say, oh my God, you know, what are you, crazy? We're in a recession. But we spend $260 billion a year on 2 diseases, diabetes and obesity. That's $5 billion a week. And those wars that we keep hearing we're not in anymore, $3 billion a week. So let's take a week off of diabetes, obesity, and the war, and we can change this. But I want to bring that home. I travel a lot. I'm busy. We're all busy, right? So I got a cup of coffee at Starbucks this morning. Actually, it was a latte, $5. And how many of us spend $3, $4, $5 on our daily coffee? And how many of us spend $4, $5, $6, maybe $8 in a beer? And if you're in New York, how about a glass of wine at $15, $16, $17, right? We, as adults, are spending 3, 5, 8, 10, 20 times more on our daily beverages than we are spending on school food. Most schools are spending less than $1 for the cost of food for our children's lunches. Really? Our children are not worth more than all that other stuff? We have to change that. This is our tax dollars. Every single one of us pay for that. And we're going to pay in healthcare costs, and we're going to pay in education that doesn't work, and we're going to pay over and over and over. So what I want to do is challenge you. You know, all of us here speak at conferences, go to conferences, do all kinds of things. And you know what? Come Tuesday morning after this long weekend, we're all going to forget this, right? Or maybe you wrote down a few things and you traded some phone numbers. But here's my challenge to all of you. Do one thing. You heard so many speakers. You've heard so much great information. Take it home. On Tuesday morning, do one thing. And what is that? Do one thing for the health of our children. Now, I'm getting pretty optimistic about this because I've gotten to work with some wonderful people. And I want to give a shout out to Michelle Obama. We've already heard from Bill about her. But she's been an amazing cheerleader on these issues. She has brought this issue into our homes like nobody's business. When I started in school food, nobody knew what it was. And now we have the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act. You know, the USDA tried to do the right thing, and then Congress swooped in and said, oh, pizza should be a vegetable and French fries served every day. Those are our lawmakers. How many of you think pizza should be a vegetable, right? We need to make sure that we have really strong laws. But I want to just tell you about the one thing, or maybe the one things that I'm doing. I've developed through my foundation, the lunchbox.org. It's healthy tools for all schools. We have menus and recipes and videos and all kinds of tools there, and we give it away free to every school in the country. And we're trying to put salad bars in schools. Let's move salad bars in schools. We've raised over $5 million, put over 2,000 salad bars in schools. And we're announcing next Wednesday $5 million more for salad bars in schools. So we need to have a salad bar and a garden in every school in the country, and we need to do it now. You know, do one thing. It really should be a birthright in our country that every child, every single child, has healthy, delicious food in school, and that no child in our country is hungry ever again. Please do one thing.